in exhibitions, one of the learning goals is, how have you been honest? You have to prove through emails or conversations or affidavits from people that you've been an honest person. And it sounds intense, but it was a very good experience, I promise you. So I think that like, if I was back in this situation as a senior and we went into quarantine, I would want everything I do to be led through learning goals, because that would be my consistent thing. The learning goals that we had, I think that they are broad enough that they hit everything. Like for projects, doing projects at home, like when I was like brainstorming this at home, I was like, there are tons of projects I could do to help my community, which is now my home, that fit the quantify goals, the communication goals, the, organizing my bookshelf. I can think about how I can put that into learning goals. You know what I mean? So I think that that's really helpful to lead through that. And then when I was thinking about also like what the Met gave to me, I think was the ability and confidence to like steer my own education. So I was able to look at what I needed to get at the end and chart my own path to get there. I mean, I had help from people when I didn't know, but the ability to like create my own schedule and figure out how I'm going to meet those goals was like, I had to do that in high school. And so it allowed me in college to do that now. And everyone else is worrying about their graduation requirements. And I have a very detailed spreadsheet that I had created in high school to put all of that into. And so I think that like being able to take control as things change is really important to focus on, and learning how to adapt to changing situations. I mean, when something doesn't go well in your project, you have to change and you still have to meet your goals, and you have to figure out how to change with those moving pieces of information or circumstances, because it's actually in the community, right? And things are changing all the time. So with those two things in mind, like adaptation and taking control of your own like life and your goals and what you want to get out at the end of it, I think like those can guide a lot as far as projects and stuff like that. And I would focus more on like your community now being your home, or your like, what does community mean to you? Maybe even starting with like asking students, well, what is your community now? What communities are you in now? And what do the communities you used to have look like now instead? And then I know that like routines are really intense, and I don't want to be like the teacher or the parent that's like, we're doing this and this and this, but I think like check-ins during the day could be helpful too. Like I know that I was feeling like quite depressed and feeling all out of whack the first few days I came home, because I was just in bed all day. I lost track of time, etc. And as soon as I started walking in the morning or doing yoga, it wasn't on a time schedule, but I had things that I wanted to accomplish every single day that helped me frame my day. And the days have been going by faster and more productive, I think. So asking students what they want their new routine to be, like what do they need from this time? What do they think that they should be doing or that could keep them sane? And then asking them to create a routine for themselves that they can meet. I think that would be helpful. And then I thought about also doing like a check-in. I know not all students have the iPads or could put it in a Schoology discussion post or something, but even if they're checking in before 10 a.m. every day, it forces them to get up before 10 a.m. so that their sleep schedules don't get all messed up, but it's still on their own time, because it's still within a period of time that they can just send you a message and say, this is how I felt, or this is what I'm going to accomplish today. I also thought about, sorry, this is like so much, but I also thought that like journaling at the end of the day, so like a morning check-in of like, this is one thing I want to accomplish today, and then a journal at the end of the day where it's like a paragraph of like, this is what I did today, this is how I felt, could also be really helpful, because I've felt that journaling this process, like this feels like a historic moment. And I think that it's important to like journal how we feel through like such an intense process. And I think that that could be a really interesting Zoom discussion or something with students of like, why is this important, what's happening right now? How is everyone in your family understanding this? Like, what does this mean? What do you know about it from the news? That could be helpful. And then I think kind of like the last thing I wanted to say, like advisory culture is really unique and really important. And I think you should talk to your students about what makes your advisory unique, and how do they want to continue doing that online with each other? How can they support each other during this time? Like asking them like, what do you need and how can you support someone like one of your fellow students And how can we carry on fun advisory culture through Zoom or through like a discussion page or a meme page or something. That's what all the kids are doing. We're memeing out here. So I think that would be a cool thing. That's what I would have wanted if I was in this situation. And anxiety around like perfectionism like really resonated with me. That was something that I struggled with a lot in high school. And I think that a lot of students at my school at Cornell were expressing that too. Like, what if like jobs won't hire me because of all this stuff? And I think that like the thing that I wrote down when you had said that, what I was thinking about is like, the whole world is going through this right now. There is not a single person that is not going to understand what's happening. And I think that that's an important thing to note too, is that like, this is the one like universal idea right now. So that's what I'm kind of going through, is that like no one is kind of immune from this situation and the anxiety or any of the feelings that come from it. And then one thing that I personally know that I need to do is I went through my whole room and cleaned it, and now I'm kind of on to like my personal projects. And so I want to kind of create a list of all the things that I want to do but I haven't had time to do, and then just start going through those and figuring out what I can do and enjoying myself, I guess, or try to be like personally productive for my soul.